Okay, bear with me. This is looking better. Hurrah! Okay, so we're going to go flying in the Alps today. Before we get started, let's go and put some fuel in the airplane. We'll fill it up. So it's just our pilot and co-pilot will be in the cabin with us today. Okay, so we have to remember how to get the PC-12 up and running. So we haven't got sunshades, which is interesting. Or control. Of course, it's got interesting. It's got memory of how it was configured previously. Of course it has. And I've hidden the tablet on this side, which is really useful. And now I can't remember how to get it back. Okay, let's work through the checklist anyway. So just make sure this is working correctly. I've got the wrong checklist, that's why. And I've written the description wrong for the channel as well. I'm doing really well today, aren't I? So I do apologise. We're in the TECNAM 2012, aren't we? Let me just alter the title of the YouTube video. So, YouTube Studio. This is the PC-12 we're in. Content. I'll get things right one day. This is, you wouldn't believe it's taken me an hour to get to this point of even just getting the computer in front of me. The TECNAM 2012. I think that's the full name of the aircraft, isn't it? Has it got a nameplate inside, just so I can get it correct for people that wander into the channel? Let me just check the full name of the aircraft. P2012, yeah, I thought it was. Okay, bear with me. I'll stick it on the outside view while we're faffing around. P2012, not the PC-12. This is what happens when you rush. It's the TECNAM P2012. Save changes. Save. Hurrah! So apologies for that, everybody. This means I have the wrong checklist on the monitor alongside me, so I'm just going to go and look that up as well. So P2012. Have I really not got a shortcut for this? Bear with me. So it's Flight Sim Studios, isn't it, that made the aircraft? Unbelievably, I think I may have deleted my own procedure for it. Let's just have a quick look. It's a nightmare. Have I really never done the procedure for this aeroplane? Oh my word. Who knew? I can't quite believe that. I don't understand. Usually I write up procedures for anything even vaguely complicated. What is going on? I'm just looking at switch positions around the cockpit to see if there's any evidence that I've not done it in the past. Have I got like a hole in my brain or something? I think I would have just set this to 2 engines. I wouldn't have had a specific setup for it. He says famous last words. Yeah, it would have just been 2 engine. Apply, go back, resume. So that gives us the okay. I'm just wondering though, I can't believe I haven't got the checklist for this. I'm looking in my own shop. There's the PC-12, there's the 330, 787 dash 850 777 ATR. I can't quite believe I haven't got this aircraft listed. That's absolutely bizarre. Okay, anyway. Okay, we'll just check the... Seeing as this is in an unknown state, essentially, the fuel selectors are already on by the look of it. Well, they are now. Fuel pump. This is absolutely bizarre. I can't believe I haven't got a checklist for it written up. Okay, for the purposes of brevity for the live stream, because you don't want to see me digging around looking for documents, we're just taking the shortcut today and getting it up and running. How bizarre. So just out of interest, this is really foxing me now as well. So if we go to YouTube and go to my channel and search for P2012, I've got an early look at it here. I guess something somewhat useful. Not very. I didn't write a checklist that time. I've never written the checklist. Okay, that's something for me to go do then, isn't it? I say it's complaining about the pitot heat being off, so we'll go and fix that. And we're going to taxi out. So wind is coming from this 1 knot, so we can take off any direction we like, really. So we're going to taxi out. To the end of the runway. We're not going to need very much runway. Interesting, a 747 came in here earlier. First time I've seen one of those land anywhere like this before. Actually, we will need the whole runway, won't we? Let's go and backtrack. Okay, everything's warmed up now. So we are going to turn south and fly towards the Alps. So going to be a sunset and a half, isn't it? So what are the volume levels like? You can hear me over it, can't you? So I could turn it up a bit. And then it gets really noisy. Okay, so we don't need the landing lights on anymore. Strobe stay on, nav stays on, taxi lights come off. Okay, let's turn the Okay, increase the range on the display. And there's the mountains. So we've got a little way to go. It's about 40 miles. Let's have a look at the map. So we're heading straight for the Lechfeld Air Force Base, I guess. If we want to come in to the mountains, yeah, it would make sense to turn slightly, wouldn't it? To come in on one of these valleys. Although if we come in there, we'll come in with Füssen and then go through. That might be quite good. Yeah. Let's just do that. Carry on in a fairly straight line and we'll enter a valley automatically. Won't take long. So we've got Munich off to the left. It's quite a way away though, so you can't see it very clearly. It's probably not rendering it at this distance. And some late afternoon cloud obscuring the sun at the moment for us. So we're happy at 3,000 feet, except I hadn't calibrated the altimeter. Now I have. So how are we doing on temperatures? RPM's a bit high still, so let's pull that down. Okay, why is that not changing? Is that a bug? Let's just move the view down. And keep an eye on these numbers. Ah, that's probably engine RPM, isn't it? Not propeller RPM. If we come in here, we can see the numbers. Yeah, that's the propeller. So we're looking good. the Alps ahead of us. So how is the 2012? I really like it, except I seem to have discarded my own written notes for starting the aircraft up. Unless I look in a paper notebook in front of me and find them. I'm just looking now. No, I've got notes for the wind chill written in front of me that I haven't typed up. I can't believe I did this without the notes. So now you've got like the master switches, the field switches. I've surprised myself. We're going to turn some internal lights on in a moment, aren't we? So let's have a look at doing that. So we've got the external lighting up here, and you've got the buses, fuel pumps, map lights, but that's not the same as the. Have we got an overhead light behind us or anything? So we've got the passenger loadout. We've got no passengers. I think I probably did it via the card, you know, last time I worked down the card. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, the quality of the rendering in this is ridiculous. It just looks real. Cool, isn't it? So I think that's that inlet through the hills that we could see here at Füssen. Just see a gap there. Let's put the head tracking back on. Should we turn these lights on now? It's getting a bit dark, isn't it? Although I'm going to meddle with time because I don't want this to get too dark. Okay, as you can see, the altitude of the ground is slowly raising below us, so we're going to climb to 5,000. We'll do a flight level change to get that. It's interesting, isn't it? It set a speed bug at the point we press flight level change. So you really have to think ahead with that, because we're only getting 400 feet a minute, look. So what we would need to do is not use flight level change. So if we go to altitude hold, and then pull the throttle back, let the aeroplane decelerate. Now if we go flight level change now and give it some extra power, it will be able to turn that into climb rate. If we give it some RPM as well on the propellers, and watch the climb rate go up, look. And the Alps are getting closer. I thought we could control those on the switches, maybe we can't. Oh no, Sim's just frozen. Hopefully it'll wake up in a moment. So obviously we're at 5,000 feet, so we can come off the speed of the propellers a little bit. I didn't add any passengers, so should we put some in? We can do it via the weights and balances, can't we? Or actually, no, I think you're supposed to do it in the tablet, thinking about it. This is going to unbalance the plane for a few moments while I put people in. There we go. I can never remember how to do this. Everything's backwards. It's let me do it from this way. Okay. There we go. They're really nicely modelled people, aren't they? It's well done. So we're going for a fun ride in the Alps. Although we may have to wind the sun back up in Truman Show style in a moment. It's going to get dark soon. I don't think anybody wants to be flying into the Alps in the dark. In fact, we'll do that sooner rather than later. Or, unless anybody wants to watch the sunset just before we wind the time backwards. There's somebody flying overhead. If you have a look on LittleNavMap, you'll see the other traffic that's nearby. So that's a Lufthansa. Does it say where he's going on here? We could look him up on the injector, couldn't we? So it's 319 from FSLTL DAILU. So if we can find DAILU, we can find out where he's going. Let's make this wider. Haven't seen him yet. There's a lot of aeroplanes. Look at this lot. It's mad, isn't it? Pages and pages of them. Anyway. So let's lower the range on this a bit now. So if we circle round towards Innsbruck and then carry on south through Bolzano down to Trento and maybe come out the other end along Lake Garda maybe, or we could cut along the valleys and go over towards Sondrio and on to Lugano. That might be interesting, eh? We'll figure out as we go. So let's get the autopilot off. Okay, why have we got no GPS position and we've lost the screens? Are the field switches not on? Interesting. Why was that switch not on? I didn't hit it by accident earlier, did I? Have to wait for this to come up. This will be interesting actually to see if it's lost its mind when it comes back on. Let's just have a quick look at the card. Master left and right. That's the pre-flight before starting. Crossfeed check. I'm just having a quick run through this to see. So that's pre-flight before starting engine. So that wants them on. Okay, so let's have a little look at the map. So I'm going to follow this valley round. I'm going to lift the sun up a little bit in the sky just to make this a bit more fun to watch, because it's going to be quite dull and drab. Should we move it into the morning actually, instead of the evening? would make sense to go straight across the top of here, wouldn't it, rather than zigzag round. I'm just going to lift the nose gently. Unless there's anything down there worth seeing. The only problem with the engine noise in this aircraft is it makes me drowsy. So we'll go for this low point in the hill here and just skim the trees as we come through. So if we carry on straight down here, it's difficult to know where to aim for, really, isn't it? What we could do, we're missing out on the sights really, flying in the valleys. Should we put in a direct 2 on the flight plan and go straight in towards Bolzano across the top, LIPB. So if we go direct 2, just skim this hillside before we make the rest of the turn. So, do we have any heating controls? We've got outside air temperature of 5 degrees, so it's not too cold outside yet, but it's going to get colder as we get higher, obviously. Cockpit air, here we go, heat. Cabin heater. It's on low at the moment. We could put it on high, couldn't we? Should be able to sneak through this gap up here. It's enough to give you vertigo, isn't it? Yeah, that would definitely give you vertigo looking down now. Oh my word. Okay, so this is cutting across, remember, to the course we charted from where we originally were, which you can see here on the chart, towards Bolzano. So we're going to shortcut across the top of these hills to get there. Just coming up to 10,000 feet. I've put in 11,000, which should be enough to skim the mountaintops. Just about holding enough speed, but I'm going to start slackening off the climb rate now. Obviously the air's getting thinner the higher we get. So let's go down to 1,000 feet a minute and give the indicated airspeed a chance. Should go back to real time and see how spooky it looks now. So the sun's gone, hasn't it? Let's wind it back just a little bit. It's difficult to see where the sun is, although it's, yeah, there it is. So we need a little bit more height. Turn the head tracking off, it's being a pain. So what we could do is go flight level change and then change the speed. And that is zoom climb. What is happening to the... Oh, here it comes. Just wondering where that speed marker was. So it's now going to drop the nose to get back to 120, but then use the excess speed to come back up. But we're almost up to 13,000 feet anyway. Is there a cabin temperature? I'm not sure there is actually. We're straight lining it to Bolzano. We should be able to descend in a bit fairly safely. So if you can look, once we get past these couple of mountains, get past Murano, we can go straight into Bolzano. Just putting us on the track for the middle of that valley, which you can see ahead of us now down here. Now we're just cresting the hills, and Bolzano's just at the end, so it's down here. So let's start descending back down. What altitude is Bolzano at? 780 feet. So if we come down to 3,000. So if we do flight level change, and it will mark the current speed, and then we just pull the power back or the propeller speed, and it will descend. So once we get down to Bolzano, I guess there's a few aeroplanes down here. There's a Cherokee, TBM. We can carry on down to Matarello, I guess. Or fly along the valleys to get to Lugano. So maybe we program that in now before we get there. So turn head tracking off for a moment. Flight plan. Origin is going to be LIPB. Enter. I'm not worried about a runway. Destination will be Lugano, LSZA. And then en route, so we'll program this in, set that as the departure, set that as the destination. There aren't really any waypoints to speak of, are there? We've got waypoints switched on, but there's none in the valleys, which is unusual. Usually you get one or two around. Obviously you can see loads on these approach paths through here, but nothing along this valley. There is an airport, not really much to go on. Okay, let's come off the autopilot. We can see somebody over there. Now, is that a person or is it? Yeah, it's a normal person. It's not a simulated aircraft. So let's get our landing lights on, I guess, and taxi lights. Light the airplane up like a Christmas tree for approach into Bolzano. So, which way's the wind? 1 knot. Okay, we can take any direction we like in. So should we do a left circuit in to runway 01? Skim over the top of the hill here before we turn back. It would give us some room to bleed some speed off, unless we can bleed it off earlier, then we can get the flaps on. Started with the flaps. See if they come down a little bit. obviously we're too high at the moment, so we're going to loop round to the right. So we'll cross the direction of the runway, loop right and come back in for a touch and go. So we're a little bit high at the moment, so we'll just side slip it. You see it dropping like an elevator when we side slip it. So it loses out on quite a lot of lift. It's one light, two lights, hurrah, and one light again. It's a bit more like it. Obviously we're visual anyway. I need extra levers. I haven't got enough hands. Let's have a look at the Alpen logo. Someone's talking about it. It's accurate to the real airplanes though. There's a video on YouTube of a real pilot stood next to the aircraft talking about flying it. So we're going to be turning right and heading out up this valley towards our destination for today. So we'll do this on heading mode on the autopilot. We'll wait until we've turned actually that's the way we came in though, isn't it? Hang on a second. What are we doing? Why has that not worked? So we put in LIPB to... Oh, did we put in LILO? Just trimming it. I thought we programmed the flight plan. Am I losing my mind again today? LIPB. We're not going en route anywhere. I put in the wrong code, haven't I? Idiot. Let's change that then. Really? Let me just put us on heading bug mode for a moment. it is, that's fine. So while we're flying along here, let's go and have a look at this and see what on earth it's done. Or what I've done, I should say. So we want Lilo as the destination. That's better. It's still not reflecting it though, unless it's just lagging. That's showing our way in, not the new route. Hang on a second then. So, did we put in LIPB as our starting point? Yeah, LIPB. To Lilo. Obviously we haven't put runways in, but that shouldn't affect it. Have we found another thing that confuses it? So we're on the back side of this rock face at the moment. I mean, we could go manual and climb over the top of it. Got a lot of speed we can transfer into altitude. The case maybe. Valley we want over there. So we're just going to do a bit of a shortcut through the hills to get there. So, while we're doing that, we could come back to here and go and turn the altitude selector up and put ourselves above the hills to go there straight line it essentially. For some reason the GPS has started playing up. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So we're just flying through here and then we'll cut to 251 degrees when we're on the track. That's slightly annoying. What range does this have? We could fly the radial, couldn't we? 40 miles. So that'll take us 2/3 of the way. Is there another VOR the other end? I was just thinking we could do it with radio navigation instead, but no, there's nothing at the other end. That's bizarre that the GPS flight plan isn't working. I wonder if it's just complaining because we haven't put in all of the details. So if we said we were going to come in runway 27 at Lilo and leaving here we'd left on runway 19, which we... No, sorry, runway 01, which we did. Line yet? No. Okay, we'll give it an en route to give it a complete plan and see if it's going to behave itself. We'll put in Gungo. Don't worry, I can see this hill in front of us. Still hasn't drawn it though. Okay, yeah, we really don't want to be this side of this hill. We're going to cash in all of that airspeed now to loop back over the top of the hill. Into the next valley. Get the propellers back down a bit. There's no need to be thrashing them that hard. And level out. So if we go for altitude hold. That's interesting that won't choose the same altitude we're at for the target when you go altitude hold. Although it does do it here, look. So if I put the autopilot on, that's interesting, isn't it? The way the different modes sometimes interact. But that's a mystery to me, why the flight plan is not working at all. Is it? We're still in direct 2 mode. Do I have to turn that off? No. I think by activating that, it's actually taking it away from flight plan mode. How strange. I've never seen that happen before. I guess the easy way around it would be just to get rid of the flight plan completely. And put it in again. But I'm just going to turn us first before we hit this hillside. So, origin was LIPB. Let's try that again, shall we? And we were going to try and go to Lilo. Still nothing. I think I've broken it. At least we can see it on the map though, hey? Right, just comfortable. We have some company. It's just bizarre to me that the flight plan seems to have just lost the plot completely. I mean, okay, I'm trying to program it while in the air, but it's just not having it. I've got it programmed in, well, you know, the basics, and it's just not there. You'd expect to put the departure and destination in and get a magenta line, and we're not getting that. Anyway, not going to worry. We will hand navigate. And we also have the backup obviously here with LittleNavMap. Imagine living there. I wonder why you would build a building up here. That's remote, isn't it? Just getting the materials there would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? Second. There's something to do with memory management, I think, when that happens. Obviously it has to do some garbage collection and then it loosens up again. Either on the GPU or system RAM, I'm not sure which. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of this range. Which way do we go? Left and then right, okay. Let's go manual. Actually do some flying for a change. So you can see the guy that's just come past is zooming off down the valley. So, what's the name of this little village down in the bottom? Edolo. Yeah, it's down here. I'm going to take the propellers down a bit. Have a play with the time of day as well, make it look a bit prettier maybe. Turn that light off. Just so it's not shining in our face all day long. Some climbing to do. So it's climb, climb, climb all the way along here and then drop into the valley onto Sondrio. Already fairly high already. So you're asking about the way the switches work. If you modify the time, it doesn't modify the weather. So they're independent of each other. So you can meddle with the sun position and it'll be fine. So I've had live weather on all the way. It's very still today. There's hardly any cloud about. A bit of mist here and there, but So should we go and buzz the houses, or do a low pass anyway? God, imagine living up here. It must be so remote. So this area, Africa. And these people essentially live at 4,000 feet above sea level, which isn't that high, I guess, but living on a mountain pass is quite extreme, I suppose. Trees. Well, the people aren't screaming yet. Yet. Now, is that a scenery fault over there? Or is it going to clear itself up as we get closer? About 15 miles out from Sondrio, which is where we're going to finish today. So are we going to find a pyramid where the airport should be? Or maybe a runway 1,000 feet wrong in its altitude? Oh no, it's just disappeared, look. Interesting. So yeah, I just looked in. We've got a lot of people with us today, look. Got all these amazing views, look, and they're on their phones. Typical. Miles to run. Okay, you can see the runway over here. It's just there, look. So let's have a check of the wind on the map. 1 knot in the valley. The actual official wind reported on the ground, 210 degrees, 1 knot. Okay. So almost nothing. We're going to loop around and come in 09. Just to give us time to have a look at the airport before we actually come into it. start controlling some airspeed here. Okay, so I still had the landing lights on from earlier, didn't I? Yeah. Strobes on, nav lights on, landing lights on. It's not a very big airfield, is it, Sondrio? Should be fine though. We're just about down to flap speed. I'll just slow down a little bit more. Lift the nose up to bleed some speed off. Sight of the other aeroplane. Going round. Help not to have an enormous hill to climb over on the climb out. I'm sure if you look in the notes of Sondrio, you have to stay in a straight line under normal circumstances and climb out to say 3000 or something before executing another approach. Okay, why is that suddenly grown to a hole? A lot of room to park the aeroplane, isn't it? I'll have to park over this side. He's facing the wrong way, he stood in the grass. Okay, that was fun. Interesting, okay. But yeah, I'll have to write some notes up on this aeroplane, because I obviously didn't when it first came out, and I would just work through the checklist in the aeroplane. So I haven't got much to go on with it. Should we go and turn things off? It's nearly dead, and it's about to go flat. This unit will shut down. There we go. Okay. Pretty cool. Right, I'm going to leave it there for today. Big question, how many trees have you counted in the Alps? Lots. I can hear an aeroplane. Oh, here he is. So who was that was following us? It's not showing labels for, I guess because they're too close. Flight Simulator looks ridiculous, doesn't it? If you imagine showing this to somebody, say 30 years ago, you'd have had a fit. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully I'll see you soon, and I don't know what video I'll be doing next, probably a tutorial of some description. Somebody's asked me recently if I could go back over radio navigation, so that might be a fun video to do. Or someone else asked me if I could do a deep dive into LittleNavMap with the most recent version, just to kind of recap how you can program flights and all the rest of it. So I might do that as well. Okay, I'll see you soon.